Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. There's been a lot that's been going on with the game since the last update, and I'm pretty excited to show you what I've been getting up to. One of the first things I did was adding music and sound effects into the game. I used some of the music from one of my previous games as I felt that it was a really good fit for this game, and I felt like there needed to be a sound effect for the hole for every time an item fell into it. I also added some sound effects to the UI menu, and I want to see if there's any other areas that a sound effect might be required, as I'm trying to maximize as much feedback as possible so the player feels like everything they do in the game has some sort of reaction. I've also added in a script to start saving and loading the player's preferences in the menu for their screen resolution setting and volume, and potentially whatever other settings might be required that I'll add into the menu at a later date. There was a point as I was sharing this game demo around with some people that someone picked up that the game would seem to reset the volume in between levels to a much louder volume that required me having to go in and tweak some of the settings to find out that there was just one single line of code that was completely ruining it. But that thankfully got fixed. Another mistake I ended up finding out was that if the volume slider was brought all the way down to 0, for some reason it would max out completely, but thankfully that was also something I took care of. For the music of the game, I ended up using a singleton to make sure that the song between the main levels stayed the same, but I wanted to keep the song for the main menu completely different and just sort of have a different feel and vibe. I then spent some time to create some more objects in the game for the hole to be able to consume, to add some more variety to the levels, and I ended up having a really fun time creating some of the levels, going from small objects that you would find in a magician or wizard sort of laboratory or magic practicing area, and then creating a whole bunch of levels with them. And I realized that I had some other assets that were really big, like whole towns and trees and whatnot, and I figured I could just scale them down and have little mini playsets and create even more levels that were rather fun to actually make once I started getting into them. It was a bit of a process to get it done, but I really enjoyed it. Some of the new items I also ended up making were time extenders, as I was told that some of the levels people felt like they were panicking a bit and rushing just to try and get the level complete. So I ended up modifying the starting time just a little bit and adding in some collectible items to further extend the time so people can get some more gameplay out of it. On top of that, we also ended up finding that there were some objects in the game that seemed like the physics didn't want to work or were refusing to work, but I managed to be able to find those odd individual items and correct that issue as well. The last thing that I've been trying to implement as of late is getting the new Unity input system to work. I've tried messing around with this in the past and I've always struggled and I didn't quite understand what I was doing, but thanks to watching some newer videos that have come out recently and a combination of using ChatGPT, I've begun to have a better understanding and better learn how to actually use this system, and it's hopefully going to enable me to be able to release the game on any platform and have it work just right out of the box, whether it's a touchscreen input, a game controller, or a mouse and keyboard. And I'm hoping that with this new skill, I'll be able to use it in a lot of other future games. I hope you're excited about the progress I've made on the game development, and I can't wait to share more updates with you soon. Thank you for watching. Cheers!